University archivist here in the NSU Alvin Sherman Library. I'd like to welcome you tonight to the Cotilla Gallery for the Art Speaks, an artist panel for the Crossing Borders exhibit, which is currently on display here until August 11th. The exhibition is curated by Khawam and features the works of artists from Israel, Syria, Turkey, Cuba, Colombia, Haiti, Venezuela, Russia, and the United Kingdom. Through their work, the artists share their cultural histories intertwined with the American experience. We see the influence of their heritage, immigration, and the new American culture on their lives and art making. Along with NSU, the exhibition is sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts, Florida Division of Arts and Culture, and the Broward County Cultural Division. It has previously been displayed at Kendall Arts Center in Miami-Dade County and at Arts Warehouse in Palm Beach County. We are thrilled and proud to have the Cotilla Gallery serve as the Broward County host for Crossing Borders. Whether you're with us in person tonight or online, I'd like to tell you a little bit about the Alvin Sherman Library. Our mission is to be the premier research, cultural, and lifelong learning center for both NSU and the community. The Crossing Borders exhibit and associated programming align perfectly with this mission. Our library is a joint use facility serving the needs of both NSU students, faculty, and staff, and the residents of Broward County. The unique partnership allows us to share our collections, services, and resources to a multitude of populations. So if you are new here and are interested in the Sherman Library and would like to learn more about how to join or to support us through various opportunities, such as the Circle of Friends, please visit our registration desk. At this time, I'd like to introduce Mr. Tony Khawam. Tony is both an artist and curator of the Crossing Borders exhibit. Tony received his Bachelor of Fine Arts from the School of Visual Arts in New York City, and his art is deeply rooted in his Middle Eastern heritage. He explores the social and heritage structures that objectify marginalized communities and the bodies of vulnerable populations, especially immigrants, and examines the cross-cultural dynamic in our communities. Welcome, Tony.
Thank you, Gina. Also, I want to give a special thanks to Jim Hutchins, the director of Alvin Sherman Library at Nova, Southeastern University, for giving me the opportunity to present this wonderful exhibition about crossing borders, artists from the Middle East and the Americas here at Cotilla Gallery. I want to just talk briefly about the exhibition itself. The idea of the exhibition was started about a year and a half ago, and we did a couple of other exhibitions before this in different counties in Florida. But the idea is to bring in international artists, since South Florida is a very diverse and it has a very talented pool of artists. So I got together with the artists and curated this exhibition, and just to present basically the rich culture and heritage of each artist intertwined with their American experience. And they are all very distinguished American artists, and they practice their work and very well known. So I want to just go through a couple of slide presentations to give you a little background of this exhibition. And then we'll start with the artist talk, and each artist will talk briefly about their experience and their art making. This movie. So this is the basic graphics when I first started this project, and of course each project in each exhibition is been rebranded for the arts hosting institution and gallery. So even though it has the same title, but it's branded for the university, no, NSU University, it's branded for Arts Warehouse, it's branded for Kendall Art Center. And this is some of the artists in their studios, and we created some marketing materials in print and for social media and online. The first exhibition we did is in August 2021 at Kendall Art Center in Miami. And normally we have anywhere between 7 to 10 artists exhibited in each exhibition. And as you can see, some of the artists here, I want to just briefly mention the name of the artist. Today, at Cotilla Gallery, Ilan Averbuch, Jose Bedilla, Linda Behar, Edward Duval Carey, Galen Cheney, Yvonne Ferrer, Tony Khawam, Sibel Kokabasi, Santiago Medina, and Nizar Sabur. And here's some of the previous exhibitions. As you can see, we did in Miami, we did in Palm Beach County. And now we are here in Cotilla Gallery at Alvin Sherman Library. And Crossing Border is an exhibition depicting the work of immigrant artists from Colombia, Cuba, Haiti, Israel, Russia, the United Kingdom, Syria, Turkey, and Venezuela, about their cultural heritage intertwined with their American experience. The impact of immigration and the new American culture on their lives and art making. Although the artworks may differ aesthetically, there is much that connects them conceptually. Common threads are recurrent references to their heritage, history, shared experiences, indigenous mythologies, and social norms. The artists often invoke national art histories, either in tribute or subversion, but also engage with current happenings and international artistic trends. The artist dialogues with the traditions of the past, interweaved with their participation in current global artistic discussions. This simultaneous engagement with the past, present, and future speaks to a singular creative presence. The artists explore history, create commentary around current happenings with mark-making techniques, materials, and process in a variety of media. The exchange of ideas and acknowledgement of the influence of these artists have long comprised the tenets of creative production by constructing a new lexicon of postmodern commentary and imagistic anarchy. Internationally borrowing and sharing pictures that were local to their heritage and experience as a way of breaking apart conventional notions of ownership. whether the implications are laudatory, reverent, academic, or incendiary, the playful, storied history of originality in art bears closer examination. And I would like to, keep going back and forth here just to show you some of the variety of artwork that we have here at the gallery. And now I want to present the artist with us today for the panelists. And I want to start with Galen Cheney. She's an American artist. She is influenced by abstract expressionism, and but her experience with foreign culture was incorporated into her artwork. She has residency in China, and I will turn it over to Galen to speak. But I want to ask the question to all the artists as we go from one artist to another. The question is how your heritage influenced your current art making and your American experience. As for Galen, it's the opposite. She's an American influenced by a foreign culture. So I'll turn over to Galen to speak.
Hi, everyone. Can you hear me? I think you can by the nods. First, I just want to thank Tony for including me in this exhibit. I'm very happy to be introduced to the artwork of these artists that I was not familiar with. And I am honestly honored to be exhibiting with them. I'm so excited to be connecting with you. Your work is so inspiring and inspired. And I see some connections even with my work and some of the work of the artists that are in the show. I'm sorry that I'm so far from Florida. It makes me want to come down and be close to you all and to see the show and to do studio visits and all of that. But we will maybe exchange information and contacts and all of that later. Yeah, so I'm a bit of an outlier, as Tony mentioned, in that my family has been in the States for generations. So I'm American for many years, but as he said, I did do a residency in China, which had an impact on my work that I couldn't really have predicted. I had been, as he said, I was definitely and continue to be influenced by abstract expressionists and that movement, and also street art from around the world and graffiti. And I had traveled, but mostly to European countries, which in some ways felt very comfortable and natural, and I could get by with the languages that I had. But when I went to China, I felt a sense of dislocation that I really had not, and disorientation, honestly, that I hadn't experienced before. I knew very little of Mandarin, so language was, culture, it was all very different. And it kind of knocked something loose in me. I was productive in a way that I had never been as an artist. I mean, I went a little bit crazy in my studio because I wasn't able to communicate verbally. All I really had was my work. And I began to work in a way that was very collage oriented, and it had an energy that really reflected my emotional state of being there. And I was also really pulling from the imagery just of life there. It's very dense, it's very colorful, there's a lot of activity. People live very close together, they're out at night together, I mean, dancing in parks. I mean, it was just, I loved it. But it took a while to kind of get my feet underneath me. But that experience really has impacted my work in a very profound way that continues to this day. Almost 7 years later, I continue to work in this kind of collage format of kind of ripping things up and kind of exploding them and putting them back together in ways that, you know, I couldn't predict. And it's a very physical kind of way of working. It's it feels like there's no reason to be hesitant. It made me feel more confident as an artist. And, you know, I really look forward to traveling more again. And I'm happy to answer more questions, Tony, if you have specific questions, but that's sort of what comes to mind.
Okay. Thank you, Galen. And now we move to some artists from the Middle East. And we have Sibel Kokabazi from Turkey.
Hi. Shall I answer now? Do you hear me?
Yeah, I need to switch. That's it. Okay. Is this turning off? Yeah, it's on. Okay. Okay. So Sibel Kokabazi is Turkish American artist, and she can go ahead, Sibel.
Hi. And I also would like to thank Tony. I feel like most of the time showing locally, this is a great opportunity to show with around the world artists. It makes me feel like already traveling, and thank you for the opportunity. And it's, yeah, I'm from Turkey. I came here 25 years ago, approximately. I studied rug design and traditional rug design, but also but the motifs were always fascinating. Every region, even in Turkey, the south had different motifs and north had different motifs, what they grow, what kind of plants they grow, what kind of colors they can combine, and they're culturally different, even the country is. So after I moved here, that always was with me because I couldn't continue practicing my rug studies. Then after my work always was conceptual, because moving here, it was also showing like how we can be part of our personality changes where we live. And living in Florida, I mean, I lived other states, but also mostly here over 20 years now. My refugee work started when the Syria war started, but even before, my work was conceptual and always remembering that motifs have effect naturally. The people who create those rugs just symbolize the plants, symbolize their lifestyle, and make different graphic symbols of their lifestyles. So after the war, I mean, war continued for a long time, but I realized living in Florida, it was, we were all in this planet, and my work shaped to our, Florida affected me, I can say, is like, because it's like such a flat state, and we are all, not just Florida, but I think we are all in the same planet. And my work continue shaped to climate refugees. So I've been working on for a while now, and I was fascinating with gold blankets and using rugs combined with the culturally how each countries, I mean, each region have different colors, different, if you go Asia, have different symbols, different colors, different plants. And if you come to America, it's different. So, but when we all underwater or under circumstances, there is no any special motifs anymore. We are all together. I think this blanket is fascinating me how, and it's the material also is like gold. It really appealed to me. So I've been using and making, I'm trying to make attention to my world and my the voice this way. Yeah.
Yeah.
And yeah.
All right.
Like, yeah. That's I can. Yeah. That's.
Okay.
If you have other questions, that's
She's
all.
done. But was okay.
Mhm.
All right, Sibel, are you done?
I'm here. Yeah.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Sibel. And now we'll move on to Yvonne Ferrer from Cuba. Let's see. And Yvonne can, of course, speak. You can speak in Spanish, and Odette will do the translations. Go ahead. Yvonne.
¿Me escuchan? Can you hear us? Sí. Buenas noches a todos. Primero quería darle las gracias a Tony Khawam por la invitación a esta tercera ya puesta de Cross Borders, a Nova University y a la galería por tan bella espacio que nos ha ofrecido. Entiendo que la pregunta de Tony es que cómo mis raíces influyen en mi obra y la experiencia americana. Sí, mi traductora.
Well, first, good evening. We would like to thank Tony for once again including Yvonne in this installment of Crossing Borders, as well as the NSU staff and the Cotilla Gallery for such a beautiful opening reception. So as she understands it, how has her heritage influenced her art making?
Okay. Yo soy una artista cubana, nací en Cuba. Desde niña me incliné por las artes visuales. comencé mis estudios muy pequeña en Cuba y bueno, hago esta introducción para explicar un poquito después mi obra.
So Yvonne was born in Cuba, and since she was very young, she had a very strong inclination towards the visual arts.
La tradición, hago esta introducción ¿por qué? Porque la tradición cubana, la tradición en las artes visuales cubanas es esencialmente figurativa.
So she makes that introduction because the visual arts in Cuba is very
Figurativa.
is very figurative.
Sí, naturalismo, la figuración.
It's very based in realism, very based in naturalism, but
La figuración.
no,
No, allá, ok.
sí, sí, sí.
Entonces estudio allí, muy buenos profesores. Me voy a España, continúo, es casi seguir en la misma escuela, porque llego a España y allí lo que me encuentro es algo no más similar a lo que había dejado en Cuba. Incluso al llegar allá decía, bueno, creo que sigo en La Habana.
Yeah. So 20 years old, she moved to Spain, and the school of art making there was very similar to what she had worked on in Cuba, and she felt as if she had never left Havana at all.
Vivo allá en España por 6 años y entonces vengo a Estados Unidos, donde sí ya se puede decir que hay un cambio. No quizás tanto en la obra como en la manera de insertarse en la sociedad.
So after 6 years of living in Spain, she moves to the United States, where she can firmly say that she experienced a very profound change, not just in her work, but in the way that she integrated herself into society and the art world.
Muy favorablemente puedo decir que gracias a las circunstancias, al ser cubana, llegar a Miami, que es donde vivo y he vivido desde que llegué aquí, todo fue fluyendo bastante fácil. Hay una comunidad cubana muy grande, con muchas, de todos los niveles, ¿no? Hay personas interesadas en el arte.
So in Miami, she found kind of a very easy way to kind of navigate this new phase in her career, because in Miami, there's a large Cuban population, which made it very easy for her to kind of navigate that world and develop her art.
Esto hace que la vida acá en Estados Unidos pues no haya sido, aunque sí con un cambio grande en la manera de enfrentarla, no haya sido tan difícil como pudiera ser para otras nacionalidades.
So being in the United States, although it has profoundly impacted her work and the fact that she has gone changing her style and how she's kept developing and evolving as an artist, the fact that she's Cuban in the United States in an area that is very Cuban based, she recognizes that it's a great privilege to be able to do that because of the ease in which she was able to navigate these waters.
Y esto, bueno, desde luego se refleja también en la obra. En mi obra ya yo, desde que me gradúo, salgo de la escuela, voy muy inclinada por el collage. Y en Europa, pues esto, claro, en España se refuerza. Al llegar acá, sigo trabajando en mi obra, partiendo siempre del collage, y quizás la obra sí se fue simplificando. Ahora es más, no es tan barroca como pudiera ser si a lo mejor me hubiera quedado en Cuba, no lo sé. Pero los colores sí tienen mucho de mis colores de mi país, del trópico, la luz. Pero a partir de collage voy simplificando, quizás dándole este toque más, no sé si decirle americano,
Sí,
pero sí se puede decir. Sí, volviéndola más, voy enfocándome incluso más hacia a la geometría, haciéndolo todo más compacto.
So part of the profound change was that although she continued with her collage making, which she had done in Spain, she's gone simplifying and simplifying her compositions more to the point where she adds a very American touch, but still maintaining the colors of the tropics of her country. And she's gone leaning more and more into geometry, introducing figurations such as the human figure, until you have what you see in this exhibition, which is her most recent work and her latest development in her career as an artist.
Y bueno, y como todo depende de las circunstancias, pues a mí se me abrieron muchas puertas aquí. ¿Tú querías decir que ya se acabó el tiempo? Se me abrieron posibilidades al encontrar un taller de cerámica que confió en mí. Y ahora pues estoy en esta exposición, pueden ver muchas piezas de cerámica. Soy escultora, me gradué en escultura en San Alejandro, en la Academia de Bellas Artes de San Alejandro. Y aquí, gracias a que, como decía, he tenido tantas puertas abiertas debido quizás a eso, a la comunidad amplia que hay de cubanos acá, pues he podido volver a la escultura. Y ahora estoy haciendo cerámica, escultura en cerámica.
And due to the fact that she's been, privileged enough to have so many doors open for her, she's been the director of a ceramic center for about 3 years now, and she graduated in sculpture. That is her specialty. So this is where you see the ceramic sculptures in the exhibition are from that possibility of having that door being open to her. So she's very happy with the way that everything is going. Thank you.
Okay, great. Thank you, Yvonne. And Santiago Medina is from Colombia. He's a sculptor, and he primarily uses stainless steel sculpture. So Santiago, take it over.
Okay, thank you, Tony. Again, thank you very much for the invitation, also to NSU and their staff. I'm originally from Colombia. I have been in the United States for 30 years. I left Colombia during the cartel years because of all of the turmoil, came to the US. I have a background both in art and also in medicine. I'm also a physician. I work as a radiologist, which is medical imaging. So over the years, I have brought together art and medicine in the sense of doing sculptures. I have specialized in stainless steel sculptures primarily because they change constantly, and also because of some work that I have done with brain imaging or medical imaging, in which we see that art that always changes in the eye of the observer tends to create more activation of the brain. So this was a great opportunity to participate in Crossroads, because usually stainless steel speaks to the observer. So for example, I have a piece at the exhibition which is called Crossroads, which is a good sculpture for crossing borders, because what happens is the sculpture has areas that are concave and other areas that are convex. If you look at a mirror or stainless steel with mirror finish, if the surface is concave, all of the images are very distorted. But if you turn around and you go to the other side of the surface, which is convex, then it has a wide angle view where everything is very clear and everything is wide angle. So the idea of the sculptures to an extent is the journey of all of us, both Americans that have been here for generations and all of us which are newcomers, because the journey goes from points in which you look at the sculpture, or you look at your life as a immigrant, and everything looks very confusing. You don't know where you are, everything is completely confusing. But with time, you may see things more of a wide angle, more of a world view, as some of the other artists describe, and everything tends to look wide and open. So my sculptures tend to try to reflect not only the sculpture and the stainless steel, but also how people perceive themselves as they look at the sculpture. So that's pretty much my experience in the US as an artist, and some of what my art has been about. Thank you.
All right. Thank you, Santiago. And of course, we have a couple of artists that are not with us today on Zoom. And this is Jose Padilla, is Cuban-American artist. And we have Edward Duval Carey is Haitian-American artist also. Very well known and nationally and internationally known artist. And we have also artists from the Middle East. Is Ilan Averbuch. He's unable to join us on Zoom, but as you can see,
He's here.
Oh, he's there. Ilan? Can you hear us, Ilan? No?
Yes, I can hear.
Oh, Ilan, thank you so much for joining us. All right, so we are now talking about your artwork, and want a quick question before you start is your artwork is inspired from your heritage and how your cultural heritage influenced your current work and your American experience.
There is a very beautiful poem in Hebrew by one of the two national poets in Israel, who said that a man is a cast of his own landscape. And I feel that that's the case, you know. So a lot of Israel, with this antiquity and archaeological digs and the precarious reality politically, are in my work. And I think that, like all of us, I am a cast of the landscape where we come from. And so I would say that if you're familiar with Israel, I can work in New York, Miami, Germany, India, but I am still having that texture and images and narratives of where I come from. So yes, that's I guess it's true to all of us. Would you like me to continue as another question, or Tony?
Okay, thank you so much, Ilan. That's wonderful. And we'll move on to Linda Behar is a Venezuelan American artist, and she's exhibiting here, and also some of her artwork here, I have it up close so you can see some of her artwork details. Linda, go ahead.
Hi, everybody. First, thank you, Tony, and thank you, the university and the gallery for giving us the space and the opportunity to share our views and work with all of you. You know, the question of where you come and how this influence in your art experience as artist, as a human, is a big question for me. Every time that somebody asks me where you come from, it's so hard to answer because my parents are immigrants. My father is a Holocaust survivor. My mom is from Morocco. I was born in Venezuela, and you know, and move here on my 30s to the United States when I feel like I grow up as an adult. That means that for me, every step and every heritage that I carry influence the way that I think and my work is. I've been working with the woman body for a long time, trying to make a statement of empowering women to feel comfortable with the body, not only with the sizing, but also with the poses and the attitude that they carry in their image and in their print. I work in printmaking. I usually work with technology and traditional printmaking. I create my wood cuts in a laser cutting machine where I design my images in the computer. And after I have my wood cuts, I print it in a traditional etching press. That combination of media allow me to bring other aspects of the printmaking and the precise of the technology, but at the same time, the feeling of the hand working with the paper and the materials. The pieces that I am exhibiting in the university, I've been working with Tony in other crossing border exhibition. That are the images that you see over there. But the images that are now in the gallery right now are images that I wanted because I've been working with Tony and I say like, I need to do something that reflect where I come from. And the image that are presented in the gallery is called Diablas. In Latin America, we have an Afro-American tradition that in Eastern, the men dress like diablos, like devils, and they try to ask Jesus for forgiveness, you are the God and we are at your service. But even if it's an African-American tradition, is made by men, and the men are the ones that are dressed like that, and you carry that tradition with them. In the pieces that I am showing in the galleries, there are women dressed naked, but with a mask that is the traditional way that the devils present themselves. And that way, the combination, I want to bring that tradition in my concept that is empowering women to feel comfortable and empowered. And this is the work that I am showing. And again, thank you very much. I'm not taking so long to say, but if anyone wants to ask me any question, I'm here to answer anything. Thank you, Tony, again.
Sure. Thank you, Linda. And last is, I'm an artist as well, and I wanted to show some previous work and current work. I was born in Aleppo, immigrated to the United States when I was a teenager, and been practicing art all my life. And recently, some of the cultural and social disturbances in the Middle East influenced my current work. And I incorporated some of the happening. For example, some of the happenings is happening actually now in Ukraine. So some of the paintings are inspired between from Aleppo to Ukraine. From the social structure point of view, and not from political point of view, but I wanted to add some uplifting and colorful palette to make it hopeful and uplifting. Now, in my recent work, I switched completely from chaos to the American Dream series, and it's from me as an immigrant artist living in America, living the American dream. I wanted to incorporate some of my cultural heritage into my current living in South Florida. So I combined some of the some figures, some elements and motifs into the South Florida color palette. And the idea is just basically to combine the two cultures together and to raise awareness of ancient and old culture and the new world. So that's about it. Basically, we are concluding our artist panels, and we can take any question from the audience or from Zoom.
You guys pass the mic around. Okay. So my question is, and I think Santiago maybe touched upon this, that the exhibition is about how the American experience. So the exhibition is on how the American experience has impacted the artists and their art making. So some of them, I think, have been here for 10, 20 years, multiple decades. And I would think that that experience has gradually impacted how they have created this art. But I was wondering if there's any like watershed or one specific moment that really impacted their art as a part of the American experience.
Any of the artists like to answer?
I think so that the American experience started from the time that you just moved to the state, because the opportunities change. The way that you see the world completely changed from where you were raised, and that in that moment you start realizing that everything that is happening around you start changing, and you start changing as a human being, and your work start changing. The way you present yourself without limitations that you will have it in your own country, the opportunities that you have for technology or for media that you didn't have, that mean that all those things make you change your work. And I think so that for me is the way that I see it, or the way I feel like my work changed.
Great. Thank you, Linda. Anyone else from the artists?
Yeah, I think it's a great question. You know, how you change over time. I think it's difficult prospectively to realize that. I came to the United States, and initially I spent many years in the Midwest, St. Louis and Cincinnati. Then I was in Boston, and then I came to South Florida. I think that it was a bit difficult to connect to a certain extent with the rest of the world in the Midwest of the US. I mean, there was a lot of things that you learn, but I think that, at least in my experience, coming to South Florida was very rewarding, because South Florida is almost like a mini universe of the rest of the world. If you look at Miami and South Florida, I think initially I thought it was the only city in the US, but I think it's one of the few cities in the world where the minorities are the majority, and where people have been here for very few generations. Where I grew up, you know, most people had been there for 13, 15 or more generations. The same when I was in the Midwest, German descendants for many generations. But in South Florida, everything is changing. I mean, very few people have been here for more than 3 generations, or even 2 generations. So there's an influx of a lot of new ideas, people from all over the world. And I think this exhibition shows that. So I think it's easier to feed on this international flavor in South Florida. And I think that that's why a lot of the main exhibitions are going to South Florida, is just because there is a lot of exchange. And I think what happens over time as an artist is that your art becomes more universal. It's not centered around your country per se, but your experience and how you interact with a lot of other people with different experiences. And that's why a lot of artists have studios in different parts of the world. And I think it's that they want to feed from different cultures and grow their art.
Right. Thank you, Santiago. Anyone else? Okay. right. Well, we conclude this evening artist panel event, and thank you so much for joining us on Zoom and for the live audience. And we do have another event in August, and it's going to be International Art Singing by Mardini. And we will send out information by email and on social media. And that's going to be interesting because it's going to be international songs. Mardini sings in multi-languages, Spanish, French, English, Italian. So that's going to be an interesting evening. And also we have, actually that's going to be in July. In August, we have another event. It's going to be wine tasting, international wine tasting event here at Cotilla Gallery. So thank you so much for everyone for joining us. Thank you.
So good afternoon, everybody. I'm Jim Hutchins. I'm the Vice President for Information Services and University Librarian. I want to thank Tony, the curator, and all the panelists. This is one of the most beautiful, most colorful exhibitions. I've been here for 20 years since we opened that building, and this has been one of the best. And really what has made it so impactful is for 18 months, this room was dark and it just had furniture from outside because we brought it all in here to encourage physical distancing. So this is really nice to see all the faces, see all the art, and I'm very happy. What I have here is Matt Mardini is Friday, July 29th. So it's just one day short of a month from today. Same time frame, 5:30 to 7. I have it in charms crowds in English, French, Spanish, Italian, Armenian, Russian, and Arabic. He has performed countless live shows and touched audiences with his remarkable voice and his interpretations of most romantic songs of all time. Friday night, romantic songs. I know what I'm doing for date night.